Welcome. We're here with Bernard. We met in Nirvana in Bali, and we had a really interesting conversation about your SEO website kind of
consultant,
quite a good business. And I remember you showed me some numbers of your clients, and it's like a few million views on Google.
Yeah,
right?
Yeah, even more.
Even more.
That's views or impressions, and some of them generate clicks that are in the hundred thousands a month. Yeah.
100,000s.
Yeah.
And so, wow, that's a lot, but not millions.
No millions. Not millions over months, though.
Over months. Okay. And one website or like a few websites together?
So it's one website per client, right? And that usually is for one single language. Some of them are international, though, so they have multiple languages as well.
But how much is the most views you got on websites for 1 month?
Most views, I think, is like 300,000.
300,000.
Yeah.
Gotcha. Okay.
But we don't, like in SEO, we don't count it as views, we count it as clicks.
Okay.
Because a view means that someone has seen your website in Google, but has not clicked.
Yeah.
So views is not the kind of metric we look for, but rather the click.
Okay. So I actually got a lot of clients with Google. I'm still receiving a lot of clients because my website ranks really good. And that's because I found a small secret or a small trick, which is basically sending my photos as a photographer, sending my photos to my clients on my website. So most photographers do it on external websites that host the photos, but I hosted it on my website. It was with Google Photos API, something really complicated. It took me half a year to figure that out. And then I put it on my website, and then I could have thousands of photos on my website. So basically, my clients got their photos on my website, so they looked at it for hours or a lot of time, and then they shared it with all their friends or with wedding friends or for an event with all the guests. So everyone would look for a really long time on the photos, and then it will basically tell Google, wow, people spend so much time on it, and they share it with everyone. This website should be amazing. So we're going to push it on Google, and this is why when you write like event photographer Amsterdam, I'm one of the number one.
Okay. Yeah. Well, interesting. What's happening here is there's a couple of metrics. So usually, from the SEO perspective, when someone looks through a keyword first, comes through Google, and then has the best kind of interaction rates, right? Where you say they stay quite a long time on the site, they visit multiple pages and all that, they share it with others. That usually is connected to the first search term. They try to find you. And when then that search term generates all these positive signals, you are more likely to rank for that search term. However, if you generate all those positive interactions without the search before, but rather directly, I'm not sure how much that is going to impact.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you.
All right. Okay, thank you.
Cheers.
Yeah, cheers, mate. Okay, let's go.
Podcast and food.
Yes, podcast and snacks.
Yeah.
That's pretty much what it is.
Really good looking pancakes.
Yeah. Okay. So positive signals are always great, but they need to be tied to a search term. Otherwise, they're tied to your brand, which would be your name, right? Yeah. So Sam I Am. Yeah. And if there's many people that search for your brand in Google, and more that search for you compared to another photographer, that is another positive signal.
Okay.
Right. That Google is looking for.
So you basically study how the algorithm of Google works, like.
Yes, so there isn't any, it's like a recipe, like Coca-Cola is a recipe, so nobody really knows what it's like, but you kind of deconstruct it, and it's the same with any other algorithm, yes.
It's kind of how humans want to consume the best information.
Yeah, but the good thing is that if you look at SEO from a, let's call it like philosophical perspective, where you look at, okay, how can Google be the best search engine out there? Because they have an interest of being the best product. So you don't go to Yahoo, you don't go to Perplexity or Bing or whatever. So you also can deconstruct or almost like reverse engineer, okay, what is their main interest?
Yeah.
And the top thing is always the best search result for the user,
Exactly.
for the mass of the users.
It's the same with TikTok and the same with Instagram. It's like, what do humans like, not what does Google or Facebook
Yes,
like.
that's true. So the algorithm is tied to the user interaction, but the difference here is, while social media wants the people to be engaged as long as possible, but it kind of tries to trap them in YouTube, in TikTok, and all that.
Okay.
Google instead tries to find the solution to the kind of problem they have as fast as possible.
Yeah.
So in a way, it's the opposite. They're not trying to lengthen the experience, but rather shorten it in order to find the solution. And that's a big difference here.
That's interesting.
Yeah.
Mr. Beast, he's like the most viewed person in the world, I guess. He has, or social media, he is saying, replace the algorithm with the word people. What do people want to see?
Oh yeah, that's good.
Yeah. So every time you say the algorithm, you replace it with people, and then instead of saying, what does the algorithm want to see, what do people want to see?
But really, I mean, it's lovely, and I love the comparison because you have more experience in social media than I have, right? The thing with social media is there might be many other intents, right? That might be, for example, entertainment or inspiration or creativity, right?
Yeah.
While with Google, most of it is based from a problem perspective.
Yeah.
Most people come from, I need this thing, I need to solve something, and I need to find an answer to it to then have the transformation, right?
Yeah.
While most people that go to social media, they just start without any intent of how do I, There's a big difference. Yeah.
True.
There's a big difference.
Interesting.
Yeah.
So for me, Google was a big game changer because I got to get the best kind of clients come to me, find me, and
They knew what they wanted.
Well, I didn't really, but it was kind of like coincidence. I found out, okay, well, if I raise my prices, those kind of clients disappear, but those kind of prices, they stay. And then I changed my photos a little bit, and then, oh, this is a new client that comes in, and they are happy to pay 10 times more than other clients suddenly. And that was really interesting. So it got me to learn who are those ideal clients, who are those like amazing clients who pay 10 times more. Why do they pay? What do they want to see? What kind of order? And it's similar to social media. Like okay, I had 3 years where I spent full time making my websites. It was during the pandemic. I had nothing to do really, but full time I built a website, learned how to build websites, learned how to do SEO, learned how to what to show, what do people want to see, and why do they want to see it. And then I hired a coach, and he was like, your website is good enough, you're just procrastinating about changing the colors of the buttons, which is not important at all. Go make videos. And that's where I started thinking, okay, well, let's just bring everything that I wanted to say in my website and put it into videos. Like, show the same things that I think people want to see, or that I understand that people want to see, because people don't want to see your story at first, right? They don't care about it. They care about, like you said, they want to solve a problem. But if we take those principles from a website and we share it on social media, then that's exactly what I did. And then my social media blew up, basically. I shared what people wanted to see, what people wanted to solve, and then I shared it on social media, and then boom. So that was a really interesting thing, and I started doing that as well a little bit because I realized, okay, well, I'm spending so much time on my website, but people don't really go to my website at the beginning, right? But people still go to my social media because when they hear, okay, Sam, I am a good photographer, they want to go to my social media instead of to my website. And I got a little bit frustrated about it, but I understood why, because when you learn about some new restaurant or something, you need to go to the website and you need to figure out, okay, where's the menu, where is this, you kind of need to navigate, and you don't know what to expect, and you don't know if it's like maintained or not, so it's kind of a surprise, and often it's a disappointing surprise on a website. But when you go to social media, then you often get surprised because it's like It's videos of the people who are working there, behind the scenes, how they work, how fun they are. Maybe they have a lot of followers, maybe they don't. You know where everything is. You see how the navigation, you don't need to figure it out. And you see also social proof, because on a website you can like post only the good reviews, not the bad reviews. And on Instagram, you don't have options. Like you get followers or you don't have followers. And if someone wants to leave a mean comment, they will leave a mean comment. Yes, you can delete it, but like it's more transparent.
It absolutely is.
Yeah. So I was seeing this trend where people want to go more to social media and more to video in general. And this is where I was like, okay, well, social media is going up as an investment trend and investment of my time as well. Social media is going up, video is going up, and then website is going down. And that's what I was thinking. But then I spoke to you and you had a really interesting perspective about it. Do you want to share again?
Yeah. So the thing with social media, as you said correctly, is social media gives a more truthful, more emotional, more reality-based interaction, right?
Yeah.
But the thing with the website is that, first of all, social media, you are only findable through social media, right? How would I find you? Like people
on Google as well.
On Google, yeah, but the thing with Google is they have a problem and you have the answer. And the thing that I think you missed somehow is it's not video killed the radio star. It's not website war. I think what you have is the gap of using your website with social media, right? To still be found, to recycle the video content you created and use that on your website as well in order to be found through Google for the people that specifically search for you, that actively want to find the solution to their problem.
Yeah.
I'm not sure if you meant that one, but...
Yeah, no, he said a lot of interesting things. Also, for example, the longevity of it.
Yeah, that's another one.
One of the biggest problems with social media, and I spoke to Jake and Marie, for example, about it. You need to post every day, or you need to post all the time. And if you don't post, you go down. And then you said that with websites and SEO, it's not. You set it up once, and then it grows.
The thing is,
pretty interesting.
The thing is with social media, you gotta feed the beast somehow, right?
Yeah.
It wants to be fed, and it wants to have as many positive signals from the videos you create, and then it also serves you. It actually promotes you because it sees that more people interact with you, right?
Yeah.
However, if you are providing a good solution, and maybe we can talk examples, right, to kind of get more into the nitty-gritty. For example, we could, what is like one of your most popular videos, maybe, or the topics of the video, right? How to earn more as a photographer could be one.
What's the difference between a 400 and a 4,000 photo shoot?
Oh, well, that is a popular one, but that is not one people would search for, right? That is one that is highly engageable, right? Oh, I never thought of this, and therefore I click, which is the reason why it works on social media, but nobody would search for this in Google.
How to raise your prices.
Exactly. This would be something that is Google related, where people say, like, I'm a photographer, how can I make more money? Or I'm actually struggling, right? Yeah. So they go to Google and they... How did I start with this? What did I want to lead with that one? You create the videos?
Longevity.
Longevity, exactly. So the thing is that your video might kind of have its peak, and then it's almost over and you got to refeed the beast.
Yeah.
However, if you are able to provide the best possible solution to that question of how to raise prices as a photographer, you make an in-depth article that provides the answer to it, and as long as your article is the best one out there, as long as you are at the peak of all the ones trying to solve that problem, you will stay there and you will generate, once you've created that article, and it might include the video, by the way, it might include the video of what's the difference between 400 and 4,000, you get continuous traffic, like day by day, month by month, but you have to optimize that article, you have to write the best one out there, and that is the difference again. You will be the one that provides the best possible solution to the problem, while on social media, as long as you engage, you will be able to stay there, and that is the big difference. And I have articles.
As long as people engage, you mean?
Yes, and that's like refeeding the beast, almost with something that stays exciting, although it might not always be the best possible solution. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
There's the excitement and entertainment value that might be more important because it creates the interaction compared to actually solving the problem.
So this is what I'm understanding.
But one more example here. So for example, I have like articles on my client pages, but also on my own websites, right?
Yeah.
Where I've published it more than years ago, and I still receive traffic to date, where I'm on position number 1, or my clients are on position number 1 for certain search terms, and I just forgot about that, you know? I receive the traffic continuously.
And you receive sales from it.
And I receive sales from it. It might be leads, it might be sales, it might be whatever kind of micro or macro conversion I decide, but the passivity of the content and of the website is the value. And one more thing that's important here is that with the website, you are able to create your own journey. Like where the person comes from, it might be like the question page, but it also might be the home page if they look for the brand. You decide on what kind of road you want them to take.
The funnel,
right? Yeah. And while on social media there's like all those interactions and there's a high emotional connection, but you only have like most of the time it's one link or one thing that is currently hot. And that is a big difference as well. There is how to say, again, it's not video killed the radio star. You decide what is best for what, but most people only use social media and they forget about the value of search, the value of problem solving. By not recycling their content or by not creating the right articles.
To be honest, you kind of need also websites. Like once you want to make money with social media, you do need to kind of, well, first of all, you need somewhere they can pay you on, and they cannot pay on Instagram. And you also want to get them off social media. You want to get their emails, and you want to get their stuff, right?
Yeah, I call this. So there's unowned media, which would be social media, YouTube, LinkedIn, Facebook, whatever. So they are in a universe that doesn't belong to you.
Right.
And you have to bend to the rules of the universe in order to hopefully get something out of it. Yeah. But I don't know if you remember from Facebook pages, like at the beginning, everyone who was a follower of your page, when you published something on your Facebook page, almost all of them saw your new post.
Yeah.
Nowadays, organic is dead. Like either you do ads or you're done. There's nothing left. That might always happen. True. It might always happen. Yeah. And if you are able to move them to your own universe that is owned, your own newsletter, your own community-based or whatever software you use, you are actually interacting with them directly without bending to the rules of someone else. And that's what you always want to do. You always want to bring the people to an owned medium, and the best one you can is your website and your newsletter.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's what it is.
Email list.
Email list, yes. Yeah. Because then you have, and that's another thing. When someone goes to maybe YouTube, right? Yeah. It's very unlikely that they begin consuming your content and end consuming your content, right? Most of the time, the whole thing wants them to stay on there, and if their interest changes, maybe their dopamine system wants like another topic, maybe MMA, maybe fun, maybe cats or whatever.
Distractions.
It's distractions, right? And you have to bend to it. And that is another thing. That is something you do not have when you have direct access via email, for example, where you say, hey, I have something for you specifically for you, and you build the relationship over time where people actually look at it.
Yeah. So social media is basically, it could be nothing, but it could be also really high reward.
Yes.
And then it crashes. So it's like this, and then with websites, it's more like.
It's very linear. So the fun thing, and that's kind of funny in a way. If you got the experience that I have, right, I can look at a market and I can decide, actually I want to enter that market. And I can almost plan strategically how my traffic is going to get there because I'm like experienced and good at it. And it's a very linear progression, right? There is no virality in it, right? And it grows and it grows, and that's the other difference. While the virality of social media can like go absolutely bonkers, like crazy, the most you get through SEO is the most that people search for.
Yeah.
That's the top. Like if you are on position number 1, that's the most you can get. So it isn't like there's a
Cap.
top, there's a cap to it.
Yeah.
But if you're there, you're likely to stay there for quite a while. It's a long shot. It's a marathon. It really is.
I do sometimes see, and it might be fake news, but I do sometimes see reels that says like Google is changing the whole algorithm with AI, and you don't need to do SEO anymore. Like it will find your website alone with AI kind of things. What do you think about that?
So there are a few good new AI search tools like Perplexity, but it generated a new category, so to speak. So SEO is like search engine optimization, right?
Yeah.
So the new category is called AI optimization, AIO. So ChatGPT as well now, when you ask it to not only simply answer a question, right, that is very simple, but something that has a certain level of research or a certain level of decision involved. It now oftentimes includes the source of the information, right? Especially with Perplexity. And you can optimize. If you optimize for the search term, you almost indirectly optimize for being the source of the contents, and you will be mentioned in the AI then. You see where I'm going?
It's a whole different topic, eh?
It's a new category that is evolving right now, absolutely.
Yeah. So what do you think the future of this will be?
I think, and that's the important one. Just think for yourself, right? There are certain things, I would say, they're called informational search or informational intention, where you simply want to know something, you get the answer and you go, right? But whenever you have something that is, let's say, based on your preference, like finding the hotel, right? Finding a hotel, or maybe choosing an artwork.
Yeah.
It's something like the AI can't do for you, right? Unless it knows you like very, very well through a history of decisions.
We are going there.
We are going there, but you gotta still like, how to say, for a certain type of decision, you want to be the ones that decide, right? And those kind of searches will remain.
Yeah. That's where AI can give you a few options.
Yes, and there you want to be included in the options, of course.
Yeah, I think, then it's about trust, right?
Yeah.
So I think AI is becoming kind of a god, a new age god, where it's like it knows all the cloud information. So it knows all the best information that is being shared with social media, and we are sharing our best information as humans. So it knows everything, and then it feeds you exactly what you need at the same moment. And so it kind of becomes like a god. But then I think the difference between that and how to stay relevant as humans, it's to have personal stories.
Yes.
To connect with people on personal stories. I just had this problem with this human, and I felt like this, and I like this, and then this happened, and this is what made me like that. Like an AI cannot really share that, not really tell that.
Have you seen that recently with the new algorithm update by Google? Google is kind of, first of all, they now have a partnership with Reddit, right? With Reddit being the content generation machine that it is, the biggest forum in the world.
They bought it?
No, they partnered up with them. But what you see more often now is people that want to find an answer, they want to relate to other people that had the same kind of problem and look through their lens, which is why Reddit now is oftentimes on number one, because they know that the other answer might just have been from AI generated content or just like generic, or people want to relate to some other individual. And therefore, what we're experiencing right now is actually we see more forums in the top pages, as well as actually, like, and it's been quite off there for a while, actually blogs, personal websites are becoming more relevant than generic ones, because they know, oh, it's coming from someone who had a similar story, or who can. Just recently I wrote an article on SIBO, like a certain gut issue, and it's already number one, like super fast, super quickly, because people know, oh, you've been through the same experience, and therefore it might be more important than some hospital or something, because they can relate. Yeah.
It's really interesting.
Yeah.
So the future, we're basically speaking, what is the future of content?
Yeah.
Right? And it comes from someone who his Instagram blew up for making videos, and then someone who is really good at writing articles and getting attention on Google. So combining that, the future of content will be more personal stories and actually authentic, real stuff where
Yes.
you express and share yourself and share really what happens. Right?
Authenticity. Even in Google now, even in Google. So that's the commonality you both have. And if I break it
Like
down, depth and relatability of it, right?
Yeah.
And if you break it down now that it's also more and more important in Google, right? Why, if you created for social media already, why would you not use that? I like to think of content in a meta level as micro ideas, right? It's a micro idea that you have in a video, and you choose the medium of video. You choose the format of how you structure the video, but the micro idea in there, like the value of it, remains the same, and you can transfer it into another medium, which could be a podcast, which could be a short, if it's like that short, but it also could be an article, right? And most people just stop on the social part of it. And don't think about, okay, how is this micro idea actually solving a problem for someone, or how could people search for exactly that? And that's the answer the question I ask myself most often. What would people search for to say, this is what I'm looking for?
Okay.
You know?
So basically how to come up with titles.
But not just titles, yes, but also the whole article is exactly that. What is the arc? How do I frame the problem at the beginning? And how do I give an overview of what kind of transformation you're gonna get from this article?
So you learn how to storytell.
It doesn't have to be, right? It could be almost like flat if the value of it is so important, but with the personal relationship, with the authenticity, yes, there is a storytelling element to it that becomes more important. Yeah.
So interesting. How I come up with ideas for what content I create is I do this. I just speak with people about interesting things, and I'm like, oh, this is interesting insights from the industry that I didn't know about, or this is interesting, and then we go on a podcast, or then I come up with ideas myself, or like, okay, well, this was really interesting, or this is the difference between this. But it sounds like you're coming with ideas from a very different perspective of like, well, this is a problem I didn't find a solution to, and then I have all those keywords that people are searching, and you have all the data from everywhere.
Yes, that's an important difference. So as SEOs, we
don't have that on social media, I think. We have different kind of ways to analyze.
I'm not sure. You're right. There's tools in the SEO world. Actually, they're not meant for SEOs. They're meant for SEAs, which would be the ones that advertise on Google, right? So the data is actually meant for the person that spends money on Google.
Yeah.
We search SEOs. We just misuse their tool most of the time.
Yeah.
Now, own tools develop, but it's the same data, and you can see how often a search term has been written down in Google every month. We have access to that data, right? And that's where we start. But if you only focus down on the data, you would still miss a big picture. Because as you've just said, for example, this how you get from 400 to 4,000, right?
Yeah.
This is super interesting, even for people that didn't search for it.
Right.
So on your website, you don't only want to include the content that answers, but you also want to include content that is like an aha moment, which keeps them on there. So the video that you've created might not directly be tied to search, but I would still always use it on my website because people will click it next. It still has the same kind of interest or the same kind of emotional potential to be seen on your website as well, and then become a newsletter subscriber. You see?
So interesting.
Yeah.
So how do you come up with ideas yourself? Content ideas?
Content ideas.
For video and for articles.
And doing that from the marketer's perspective. I think that partially is why I'm good at it, right?
It's kind of the same, by the way, because sometimes I come up with content spontaneously, and then my video editors cut it, and if they're really good and smart. But sometimes I just need to write it myself. So I write it in text, which I could post as articles, but then I say it. So it's I used to kind of separate videos and text because I thought it's completely different. It's basically the same.
Have you, for example, so let's ask you the question. Have you ever done a specific kind of research where you say that is my perfect customer? Or do you have that like inside of you and you kind of see them, but you've never written it down specifically?
I never use data. That's why I find it interesting speaking to you. But I use coaches and I use psychology and those kind of things. And for me, the best way to make the most amount of money is to ask yourself 2 questions that I came up with. What is the biggest First of all, who is the person you can help the most? And that's who has what you have the most. So you could help a homeless, but if he has nothing to give you back, which could be education, could be money, could be love, could be a lot of things. So who is the person you can help the most, who has the most of what you want?
Okay, who has the biggest pain point, and who has the biggest
And then the second question is, what is the biggest problem you can solve for them? Like if you can just bring them tea, it's not so valued. But if you can do more than that, fix a big relationship problem for them, or make them amazing photos, or get the best sales video for them, that is a big problem. If you can make them more money, which is everyone's problem, or everyone wants more money, then you're really close. Like you can make a lot of money. There's this really interesting saying that I had to learn the hard way. The closer you get to money, the more money you can make. Which is basically the same question as the bigger the problem, the more money you can ask. Because, like, for example, you have cancer and then I help you fix it.
Yes.
I'm not close to money, but it's a lot of money.
Yes.
And it's a big problem because it's a big problem. It's a big
pain point. Yeah.
Yeah. But the closer you can get to helping someone make money, the more money you can make. And it's around 10% of it. So if I help you make $1 million, I'll get $100,000.
Okay, so you do have a calculation in there even.
It's
somehow, or a feel.
It's like universe's law.
Okay, interesting.
Yeah, it's really interesting. Because like when I started, I shared like some of my secrets online, and then it blew up. And then I went to a guy that spoke about how to make money from Instagram, and I heard their conversation. And I went to him and I was like, I just got 75,000 followers, and I have no clue how to make money from it. It's just a number for me. It's just a number, right? I have no clue what to do with it.
Yeah.
And it's the same for you probably. I have an article that's doing amazing, but I'm getting nothing out of that. Other than numbers.
Yeah, very much so.
And then I was like, okay, well, what should I? Hey, thank you. Thank you very much.
Yes, thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thank you. Tsutsuma.
And then I kind of had, well, what do I sell then? I need to sell courses or stuff like that to help them solve a problem to make money from it. Okay, well, I can sell an editing course, but I can also sell a photography course, or there's a lot of things I can teach. And then I learned the closer you get to money, or the closer you get to helping someone else make money, the more money you can make. Then I understood, okay, well, if I help photographers, any photographer make more money, I can make more money because I help them solve that.
Yes.
It's basically money at a discount for them.
Also, if you help them make more money, like it's gonna amortize. It's almost like you are cheap. Because in a week you already paid off. It's not a cost; it's an investment.
And you have a website for yourself. How much views do you get there?
50,000 a month right now. Yeah.
50,000 a month, and every day you get 10 new people into your email list.
Exactly, right? 10 new subscribers to my email list every day. And the crazy thing is, it was on pause for almost a year. But the funnel stayed the same and the traffic stayed the same. So for almost a year, I didn't touch the website. Still 50,000, still 10 people per day.
Why?
What do you mean why?
Why do people go to your website?
Because they want to find a solution to the problem they ask Google.
Which is?
That one is mostly in the field of personal development and how to use technology to your advantage and how to shape a more positive behavior with technology in your private and business life. So we do have habits, we do have note-taking tools, we do have blocker apps, all those kind of things. And I would say if you want to improve yourself, my newsletter is the right one for you, definitely.
He has depth.
No.
This is depth, right? Well, you come here for SEO, but then you fall in for self-development and yeah, that's interesting.
That's what I'm here for. Yeah, that is, and that's kind of the change I'm making or I'm going through right now. I have developed this tool of SEO, and I don't really like to tie it to my identity anymore. It's just something that I've become very good at and that I want to use for myself. And it's the same for you. You might become really good at something, but maybe it's just a step you take to get to the next level. Similarly to what you told me about the content content production machine,
Yeah.
something that is now easy for you,
Yeah.
but you began that journey with photography and with that kind of medium.
Yeah. Can you actually share again, how would you create the best content?
Once again, so either you go from search and the data, right?
Yeah.
That is the easy one.
Yeah.
The quick one, but that is the one where everyone else is going as well.
Yeah.
The better one is to always ask yourself, who is my customer?
Yeah.
What kind of problem are they trying to solve?
Yeah.
And what am I the best at?
Yeah.
How can I solve that problem the best possible way?
Yeah.
And then you create the strategy to bring them, almost like a little child that you take by the hand and say, oh, you want to find the way to that direction, or your mama or whatever, let me take you by the hand and let me guide you through all the steps,
Yeah.
the kind of content roadmap
Right.
to bring you to the transformation.
Right.
And within those steps, there might be some products of yours involved.
Right.
That's pretty much what you do.
Right. Okay. And to close it off, how can you help people now? How can they find you? And how can you help them?
How can I help them?
Yeah.
You mean for SEO purposes or in general?
In general. How do
So-
you want to help people, and how do you help them?
So I ask myself this question as well. I would frame it in the way, what is the highest value of contribution, right? What is the most valuable thing I can contribute to the world,
Yeah.
right? And I have developed certain skills in the SEO and website realm where I say it would be a shame if I don't share them with the world. So
Yeah.
I'm going to finish one course currently that is the art of naming, how to find the perfect domain name for your business or your project.
Is that important?
It's still very important, yes. I mean, it's pretty much the same as your Instagram handle if you think about it. It is your reputation in the form of a website name, okay?
Fair enough.
So naming is one, and there's something to it. Even for search, your domain name means something. But yeah, naming is one. The other one is how to build a website in 6 weeks, or as fast as possible.
Yeah.
But not in the way where most people build a website and then hire an SEO consultant to get traffic to it, but rather you learn how to build the website with traffic in mind. I call it traffic-based or traffic-centered web creation, right? For people that are not either don't have the budget or don't want to go through the whole process of hiring many people or many agencies, hopefully to reach the result. And then what I'm going to focus on is my own website and the products around it, which would just be my name, bernardzitzer.com, where I teach people on how to build habits, not only in the way where it's about theory, but how to actually get into taking action. Because I think the world has enough of what. Everybody knows what they have to do. People struggle with taking action, and that's all I'm about. How to actually do what you set out to do.
What do you mean?
It's like I call it doism.
Yeah.
Right? So whatism is what the world has enough of, and doism are strategies you implement to actually structure your day differently. One example could be like personal environment design, which would be something related to the default. What's the way, like we know the morning routine, which is like one tool that people use, but I've developed a series of products that actually help you do what you set out to do, and it's not digital. I try to get away from the digital world, and I try to get more closely to the offline world where you actually feel what you do. It's a bit abstract right now, but imagine something like the bullet journal where it's you and your thought and your action.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Interesting. So from inside, you know how to get people to take action and to get results and to make money from building websites.
Yeah, that's what I do.
Fascinating. Okay. Thank you, Bernard.
It's been good meeting you, Sam. My pleasure.
You as well.
All right.
Thank you for the information.
Thank you.